You know, there are a lot of real estate agents, but as far as I know, there's only one probate nurse, and she lives in the, what do you call the Tampa coast? Is that the Gold Coast? No, that's the Tampa Bay area of Florida.
Gulf Coast.
I'm sorry?
The Gulf Coast.
The Gulf, there you go. The Gulf Coast of Florida and Tampa. Please welcome Melanie Hands, the probate nurse. Melanie, what's up?
Hi, Bill. Thank you so much for having me. How are you?
I'm doing great. I know even though you're the nurse, you maybe haven't been taking enough of your aspirin or whatever to prevent yourself from getting cold. So I appreciate you coming here under the weather a little bit. It's always great to see you. Let's talk about what is the probate nurse. I know what the brand means, but what is it, the value that you bring to prospective customers in the Tampa market?
Yeah, so I've been having a lot of conversations with people who are like directors of assisted living or, home care companies, things like that. So what I'm finding is that when I let them know that I'm a nurse and I let them know that we go into our clients' homes and we can assess not only the home, but we can also assess what's happening with the family members. So I like to consider myself to be the person that helps the remainder man. And that could be a spouse who's been left behind, who may need care. They may need assisted living, they need placement somewhere, they might need home care. So we're the people that go in and we can assess all that in one call, essentially. And then I just go to my wheelhouse and, my preferred partners and just call them and say, hey, we need some help. We've got a lady here that needs some placement. So that is what really separates me, from any realtors or investors that are out there trying to sell your home.
When people hear realtor, they assume, well, there's a million of them and I know 5, or even in the real estate space of probate, there's a wide variety of narrow lanes. I'm in a different lane entirely. I wouldn't know what to do with that kind of request. I'm very good at helping the legal, the paperwork, the filing, the finances, the real estate negotiations. But there is an important segment of the population that has to transfer mom, dad, or whoever, grandma, to an appropriate facility. And
Sure.
There's a certain expertise that you get being a nurse in these areas. Tell a little bit about some of the considerations or issues that come when it's time to relocate mom, dad, or a grandma.
Sure. I mean, a couple of the top things are, we have to see what level they are. Where are they? Are they able to do any of their own activities of daily living, which nurses say ADLs? Are they able to walk, talk, feed themselves? Are they going to be independent living? Are they going to need assistance with not only minor things, but also major things? Bathing, walking, showering, things like that, feeding themselves. Or they may also qualify for having their medication, so we can kind of get an idea before we actually call the placement advisor and say, hey, we've got a client here and this is what's happening with them. Can you assist? We've got a family in crisis. So.
One of the big issues, having gone through this, with my parents and my wife's parents, and one of the issues is even when they're able to do those things, there's another level of concern, which is safety. Meaning, if they live in a regular house or condo, there's stairs, there's ups and downs, there's step work to get in the unit. Whereas there are facilities that are really designed for elderly people that are safer, a little wider, handrails, that kind of thing. Talk a little bit about even when they're able to provide for themselves, kind of the opportunities, or what are some of the options as far as kind of safety, supervision, things like that.
Yeah. So are you talking about aging in place, or when you place them into a nursing home or assisted living?
Well, I think what happens commonly is people age in place, right? You live in a house, and like just where I live, for example, there's like 4 brick stairs out the front door. One day I'm a step 3, and I look up and somebody's making noise, and I miss the step, I fall down and cut myself. Now, it wasn't serious, but 5-10 years from now, it'd be more serious. Or if I hit my head, it'd be more serious. Or I fell on my hip, it'd be more serious. And those issues, I think, are overlooked until there's a disaster, right? And so
really
at some point, you have to say to your parents, this isn't safe for you anymore. We need to put you
Sure.
before there's an accident, right?
Yeah. So like with that being said, more of the aging in place type of situation, we do have referral partners here that do aging in place home renovation. So they could literally, I could call them and say, I do need a consult at this home, and they could go in and sit with the family, if there is any, or with whoever their advocate is. A patient advocate, and they could do a quick dissection of the home and just go through and find out what it is they need, whether it be something that they could go like over the toilet, so they're not going so far low when they go to sit down and having a hard time getting up. It could be grab bars in the shower. It could be really sharp corners around the home or in furniture, and we could pad those things. all kinds of different things that we don't really
Right.
think about. And, we have a generational home here, and I remember this very fondly because it happened more than once. I was coming down the stairs and I had a new pair of glasses on and I wasn't used to them yet. And I missed the bottom step, but I flew forward and I landed on my hip. Had I been, 75 or a woman with bone density situation, I could have broken that hip.
Right.
In my 50s, and that would have been really bad.
Right.
So these are just all, concerns that we really need to think about. Are they using walkers? Are they using a wheelchair in the home? If they are, then everything, the height needs to be lowered down so they can reach the stove and reach the refrigerator and things like that. So all of these things are definitely doable with the right referral partners and the right team members to come in and find out exactly what they need, and they can work pretty quickly.
I know you network with people who are in the business, in some of these facilities, in a placement situations already. So talk a little bit about some of the resources you help bring to them as far as expanding their business and doing business development.
Yeah, so, I go to a lot of the networking meetings, and I went to one yesterday. We do cover the whole Tri-County area of Greater Tampa, Pasco, Pinellas, and Hillsborough. So I was in Pasco yesterday, and we meet with these people and we find out exactly what it is, that they're looking for in their clients, and they do a lot of education. They might come up and talk to us about, what it means to be in a nursing home or an assisted living center. And then we can then, kind of match that to our clients. If that's kind of what you're asking, I'm not really sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we get a lot of education from them. And, every meeting that I go to, which is typically about 2 or 3 a week, sometimes 4, every time you go to one, you're learning more and more, right, about what these centers have to offer. And typically the directors of the centers will come out and they'll speak with us and welcome us and tell us, hey, let's go take a tour. So we do. So we can actually see what's physically going on in there, and I can match it to my clients. Say if someone calls me from New Jersey and says, hey, my mom is at home and I really think we need to talk to somebody. So that's the kind of value that we can bring to them, and that's the value that they bring to my business as well. So it's just like a match made in heaven, to be honest with you, to have those people at our fingertips and just call when we need them.
I also think you bring a unique perspective because you've been to multiple facilities, whereas if they call a facility, there's a salesperson who's paid to sell that facility. Most people, we're all busy, and so when it comes time to look at and shop facilities, I know with my mother-in-law at one point, I went to one and I said to my wife, well, you take it from here. But to have somebody who's been to 3 or 4 or 5 and can give you because they're all a little different. They're all different levels of luxury and facility, and some emphasize activities and some is the physical plan. Right. Being able to, I think, share with the family and give them the insight, or whoever the advocate is, the insight of the options. I think sometimes you give people choices, they'll make the right choice for themselves. Sure.
And, and on that note, there's a lot going on here with memory care and memory care certification, because you and I both know, there's been a steady cognitive decline for many, many years.
I knew that, but I forgot about that.
You forgot. And I forgot what I was going to say. But yeah, so that's huge, and really knowing where those places are, because in this type of business, we often see it's the caretaker that has fallen down, had a stroke or heart attack because they've been caretaking for so many years, right? So we need to know what those clients need, right, when they go in. So, yeah.
I think having that background really helps. So talk a little bit about, you also have some expertise on marketing. You created the Probate Nurse as a way to promote yourself. Talk a little bit about how you came across that and how you use that to reach out to people.
Yeah. So it, honestly, it just kind of popped into my mind, the name, and it wasn't something that I was seeking, it just came to me because I'm really huge on marketing, and it's really, really important when you're in business, especially real estate, to have a huge marketing background, because it's really like 80% of your business, right? If you're not out networking, you better be online and doing things. So, being that I was a nurse and that I love real estate, just so your audience knows, I started in wholesaling and rehabbing houses back in 2013 in the suburbs out of Detroit. And, I forgot what I'm talking about. It's the medication.
Well, marketing and branding.
It's the medication. Just edit that out, okay? Do you want to edit that out, please?
Well, that's kind of the joy of doing this, is we're not professional videographers, we're professional real estate agents, and in your case, serving your community. But talk a little bit about, just to kind of reset, talk a little bit about the Probate Nurse and how you use that to build your business and also help your clients get more reach?
Yeah, sure. So, going back to that. So when I was flipping the houses up in Michigan and I was kind of introduced to probate leads through a mentor of mine, and it just kind of clicked. And then coming to Florida and caring for, 3 terminally ill family members, I just became the nurse, and I'm like, probate and nurse. It is just, it was perfect for me because I knew that I didn't want to do conventional real estate per se, but I wanted to do something that would kind of let me do a culmination of the nursing, the investing, and the real estate. And it was like, bingo, that was it. So with that, I got my website set up, probatenurse.com. I am now doing videos everywhere from TikTok to LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. So that's huge. And I do a lot of, being a nurse, I do a lot of educational videos. We try to keep them short, maybe a minute to 4 minutes. And then I also have my YouTube channel, which is just getting off the ground. And those are a little bit longer. So that's really it. And from that, by getting your name out there and putting the videos out and bringing value to people, I'm having people that are reaching out, via Messenger, and they're basically saying, hey, what was that you just talked about? That estate planning, or what was that assisted living? So it's really a great way to get your name out there, and it's really different. It's really a unique name, and it does garner a lot of questioning. When I hand people my card, they're like, the probate nurse, what is that? So I'm like, that's exactly what I wanted. So I'm really happy with my choice on name and branding too. So,
and I think obviously you can be of a benefit to help your partners and the facilities you deal with, looking to how to brand themselves as well, and how to share and then market them on your platform as well. So you offer a lot of resources to somebody working with you.
Yeah.
Well, Melanie, it's always a pleasure chatting with you. You and I talk from time to time, but I just wanted to record this, kind of share what you're doing with your community and with my community. Thanks so much. If someone to get a hold of you to talk about, property in the Gulf Coast area of Tampa, Florida, what's the best way? I'll put it in the description, but what's the best way to get in touch with you?
So greater Tampa area, Pasco, Pinellas, Hillsborough counties. We also cover Sarasota and Hernando, which is going north and south. Best way to get me is on my email, info@theprobatenurse.com. You can also reach out, even if you're an attorney or you just want some information, please visit my website, www.theprobatenurse.com. There are contact forms on there, as well as attorney contact forms on there as well. And that's the best way to get me.
Fantastic. Melanie, thank you so much. Always a pleasure chatting. We'll talk to you soon.
I appreciate it. Have a great afternoon. Thank you.